everybody who's known you has known that you have gotten in trouble before for speaking your mind and being honest.
Always do.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm going to tell the people who don't know you, that if you're coming out and saying this, you can bank on it, because you've never been one, whether you've been working for WWE or now not, to pull your punches. You're going to say exactly what you think. So, listen to what he's saying, folks, and don't automatically hear what you've heard those idiots like Geraldo Rivera and Bill O'Reilly and people like that who've just been ridiculous about this subject.
Yeah, I've got no reason to speak anywhere but from the heart. In fact, that's how I've always been, which, as you mentioned, has always got me into trouble, or at least appear to be in trouble, but nothing I can't handle. But anyway, right now, definitely, I'm my own man, so there's no reason to tell you anything but how I feel.
Rob, this has brought up the question of steroids in the WWE and in wrestling. I know a couple of years ago, Vince McMahon and the organization instituted a testing policy. And in fact, I talked to Ted DiBiase off the air last week, in fact, and he said that, there's no way Benoit could have been on steroids. It would have been detected in his April testing. But it brings up the question in general. Is there a problem with steroids in the WWE?
Well, I don't. A problem if it ends up being a problem. You know what I mean? I mean, the wellness program I can attest to. I have seen it help some young guys that were on the wrong path.
Okay.
All over the internet, we hear this being blasted, that it's just that the program means nothing.
Right.
Vince just did it to pacify, whatever. But the truth is, while I was there, I saw some guys going down a very destructive path with different medications, and I saw them get caught, and I saw them go to rehab. I don't know. Let me let this beep again, because someone's really rude. There it goes. I'm going to learn how to turn that off before our next call. But anyway, I don't know for how long they'll be helped. I don't know if they'll end up repeating, back into what they were doing. But I know that it definitely picked them out. I've always felt like the program was meant for the guys that are in trouble, and the guys that know how to take care of themselves. They got to kind of go along with it, and it's not very joyous, and it is violating for people that know how to take care of themselves. To go through this to help those who do need it. As far as is there a problem with it, I don't see one. I think in order for it to be a problem, somebody would have to have health issues, or it would have to raise some degree of difficulty that would either be a difficulty in people's lives and their health, or it would be an obstruction with business.
Well, Robin, a lot of people would say, though, Eddie Guerrero, when they filed his autopsy report, that the doctor wrote that his heart problem likely was caused by steroids. And again, that's just one that's officially on the record. So other than that, I don't think there's any other real proof of anybody doing that. But, they have said that. So some people will say, well, there's one guy that definitely died from taking too many steroids.
Well, my understanding from Eddie Guerrero was that it was a lot of things, and they were saying, that maybe his addiction to painkillers from the years past, even though he was supposedly sober for 4 years, that was a contributing factor as well. I'm definitely not going to say that nobody uses them. That would be trying to treat everybody, like they're idiots. But as far as there being problems with it, as far as people dying with it, it's common. It's a common thing among big guys that work out, among big guys that are athletes. To use it. If one guy's death, was linked to it, then I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I really don't know. I don't think that it was just steroids that killed Eddie.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. That definitely isn't my understanding of it, and it's something that I believe if it was done in moderation or within recommended doses from a doctor or whatever, I don't think that it's the killer drug that everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah, and Rob, it's real simple too. If the life bothers you, if the travel bothers you, if you get depressed, if you can't stand being away from your family, they can do what you did. And I'm not saying that's the reason you did it. You just said, I've had enough. I want to take a break. Everybody has that option. You don't have to do that. Stay.
Yeah, and Joe, not only that, but that brings up a valid point. There's also an option to stay in the business and to not touch any drugs. That's something that's ignored by everybody. Right now, wrestling has a very bad image. People think that all wrestlers are drug addicts and that you have to do painkillers and be addicted to them and be addicted to steroids to be part of the job. Definitely not. It's definitely an independent choice. And for sure, I know a lot of guys that never touch a pill, never touch steroids, won't even have a drink. And in fact, you know somebody like CM Punk that makes his whole name on it and stands proudly and declares, everyone, look at me, and he competes just as hard as anybody.
Rob, what would you say to the parent out there that after this Chris Benoit incident is saying, you know what, I don't want my son, my daughter, my kid watching WWE, idolizing these wrestlers out there in the ring because, look, Chris Benoit is a murderer. My son was a Chris Benoit fan, and it turns out he wasn't a good person, a good role model for my kid. Thus, I will never let them watch WWE wrestling again.
Well, I would tell that person, that it wasn't pro wrestling that did this murder, and that just happened to be the occupation he had. Just like if you look at any other murderers and they're postal workers or football, whatever, doctors, whatever they do, I would let them know that wasn't what caused this. And at the same time, I'm not one to always defend wrestling. I feel very strongly it's up to parental discretion, and that any parent needs to decide exactly what they let their children watch, and in fact, even more than that, give them the good sense and judgment to decide good and bad, and also what's right and wrong.
Rob, where's the state of wrestling right now? Where would you put it? Is it a healthy sport right now? Is it doing well? Obviously, they got the cable deals, the pay-per-views seem to do well, but is it still at the top of its game right now with Vince McMahon running it?
Well, it depends on what you can. Oh, shoot. I got that. Someone beeping in again. They're so rude to me when I'm doing an interview, when I'm on the radio. It depends on what standards you. If you go by ratings and if you go by merchandise, royalty money that's coming in, wrestling's not doing so bad. Right now, as of the last few weeks, it's definitely got a really, really bad image on it. Wrestling is its own phenomenon. It's sports entertainment. Nobody can really understand what it is unless they do it and unless they're good at it, too. And that's something I can say after being in it for like 18 years, because there's a give and take to it. There's a love. There's a hate. There's something that nobody can really understand on the outside, but they all want to feel like they do understand. They all want to come up to me and say, oh, I know it's all scripted, but blah, blah, blah. Well, no, it's not. Sometimes I don't even know one move before I get in there. Well, your buddy was in here. Who the hell was my buddy? That could be anybody that's another wrestler, and they automatically just want to say like they know all about it. Truth is, it's its own strange phenomenon, and it got a little bit mundane for me. There's one of the many reasons I had to take a break, not only because I was so burnt out from the travel, but also, Joe, I was just burnt out from the routine of going out there and doing my thing in the ring. I mean, here I am in sunny Los Angeles. Why do I want to travel all the way to Boston and New Jersey to do a backflip and a spin kick?
That's it. Rob Van Dam with us on AM 570 KLAC. Now that you have taken a hiatus, retired, whatever you're going to say for now, what are you doing? What's life going to hold for Rob Van Dam?
Well, for the most part right now, I'm still trying to catch up on touching home base and feeling like I'm home and spending time with my wife. So despite all the phone calls I'm getting for potential opportunities all over the entire world, traveling outside of Los Angeles is not that desirous for me right now. In fact, I'm getting a lot of calls saying, I heard you're doing interviews again, because they know about this interview here.
Yeah.
I'm laying low. I am working on some stuff that I'm incredibly excited about, stuff that I've been wanting to put some energy into, but haven't had any time or energy for a long time. So I will be releasing some big news on what I'm doing this summer, and of course you can check that out at robvandam.com. In the month of July, I plan on posting some exciting news that's going to let everybody in on what I'm doing, but very optimistic about the future. And I'll tell you, right now, having a month out, it definitely looks like I got out in the right time, as if I ever doubted that. But everybody that has any concerns, that's worried about RVD, don't worry, I'm extremely happy and doing very, very well.
Because you're the whole effing show, still.
You know it. That ain't going to change, Joe.
That's right. And as soon as you get your stuff ready to go and you put it on rvd.com or vandam.com, you got to come on here and talk about it.
I'd love to.
Absolutely.
Love to. And Joe happens to know a little something, too, that everyone else doesn't know. So I'll be spending a little time in your studio because I'll be working right down the street from you.
That's right. Absolutely. We'll keep that a secret for a while.
How about that?
Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Always good to talk to you. Rob Van Dam, former